Hey Hotties, how you healing? How you feeling? I'm Zenzi, and this is Hotties Heal. So first off, I would just like to say hello and welcome to all my subscribers, new and old. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I'm so happy that you guys have decided to join me on this healing journey. Today, I'm gonna talk about unplugging, specifically unplugging from social media. This is something that I've been practicing for the last 2-ish months, and I just want to speak on like why I made this decision and why I think it can be really beneficial for others. So I guess I need to clarify what I mean by social media, because obviously I'm sitting here doing this and I'm uploading videos. So when I'm speaking about social media, I'm speaking specifically about the platform that I used heavily and I noticed an effect on my mental health, specifically Instagram and some resources that I've used on YouTube. But I just want to focus on Instagram right now, and then we can move into the other ones. Now, I know people have a problem with doom scrolling, and specifically, I looked up the definition of doom scrolling because I know I have a definition for doom scrolling, but I wasn't sure of what the general public was associating doom scrolling with. So the definition of doom scrolling officially is consuming large amounts of negative media for extended periods of time, which leads to anxiety and or depression and other negative feelings and emotions, which is interesting because when I think of doom scrolling, I think of like scrolling to avoid the doom that I feel inside. Like if I'm anxious, like, oh, distract myself by scrolling on TikTok because like my algorithm is so specific to my personality that it's like a nice little mind wipe. But I guess both can apply. Doom scrolling, I don't think is ever really a good thing, whether you're using it as a coping mechanism or whether you are just consuming large amounts of negative media. Neither option is really that great. You know, as people, and me specifically, I know that I need to find some better, more healthy coping mechanisms, and I'll be real, I'm not gonna hold you guys. I still scroll on TikTok from time to time. I'm actually having a little bit of trouble with my sleep schedule right now. And I noticed that TikTok will let you scroll for longer at night. So that's a little suspect. Before the girl pops up and she's like, hey, you've been scrolling for a while, maybe you should stop. And every time she comes up, I always stop because I'm like, let me listen to her. So if you ever encounter that girl on TikTok, listen to her. Shut it off, get some water, relax your mind, you know what I mean? But yes, I want to specifically talk about Instagram because I feel that it's can be one of the most harmful, or maybe it's just my generation. Like I feel like Instagram is kind of harmful for my generation. I'm like a cusp of a millennial / Gen Z, but like Gen Z seems to say that like posting on Instagram is cringe unless it's your story, and I did not know that, and I was fully like out here popping off on the gram, posting stuff to my timeline all the time. And if I decide to come back to Instagram, which I'm sure eventually I will, I'm still gonna post. I don't care if the Gen Zs think that I'm cringy for posting. I like what I post and I want to go back and be able to look at it. I don't want it to be archived in my story. Plus everyone else needs to see how cool I am. Moving on. I want to talk about the ways that Instagram has affected me negatively, which caused me to take a break. And I know for a fact that I'm not the only one in this boat. But Instagram can cause a lot of low self-esteem and comparison, in my opinion, because, you know, you're seeing the creme de la creme of everyone's lives, and it's such a idealization of what's happening. It's not like real. Obviously, like, if you think about it for a second, it's just a moment in time where you can curate it to be whatever you want it to be. So, but sometimes when we're consuming that nonstop every day, all day, it's hard to get your brain to associate that truth with what you're seeing. Secondly, people are really keyboard warriors out here, and I personally haven't suffered too much at the hands of people speaking negatively about me to my face on the internet, just because I don't have that much clout. I don't have that big of a platform. But people really get bold and love to say things online. Like, it's a place that really breeds a lot of negativity because people can hide behind their screens. Sometimes they don't even have profile pictures, and they're just like saying the most heinous, lawless things. And even reading those things and seeing that people like that exist in the world can be deeply triggering and traumatizing, which leads me to my next point, that there have been several studies that link excessive social media use, specifically Instagram, with mental health issues that can cause feelings of loneliness, depression, anxiety, and poor sleep habits, which goes back to the doom scrolling, like staying up for hours on end, just like consuming this, scrolling, like Black Mirror-ish. And then realizing all of a sudden that it's 4 a.m. and you're like, oh crap. And poor sleep equates 100% to having issues with mental health. Like, most people who suffer from depression and anxiety usually have some type of poor sleeping habits. And that just segues right into the next issue that is at hand. It's an addiction, and it's a waste of time. I mean, I'm not going to project onto anyone else, but I know that I would just like not even consciously be on my phone and open the Instagram app for no reason. And then I'm like, wait, why am I on here? And I personally really just had to, since I've unplugged, log out, so that way even if my brain subconsciously does just like click on the app, I would have to log in to get on it. So it makes me more conscious. It makes me aware, like, do I really want to get on this app right now? No. And the way my screen time has gone down significantly since I have, like, hours have been knocked off, because like, what do I need to be doing on my phone? The real world is out there for me to be living, and I'm just gonna do that because the real world is better than anything that I can consume online, and anything that we see online comes from snippets of the real world, right? So why not just be in the real world? Just my opinion. For now, like, I mean, this is a little bit of an Instagram slander video, but I'm not really an Instagram hater. As a creative person who loves to like put outfits together, I do enjoy taking pictures and slaying on the gram. You know that song, Roxanne, bitches love the gram. Okay, tangent. To get back on track a little bit, Instagram and also other social media platforms pose a big privacy concern. I know most people aren't thinking about this because as the day-to-day average Joes, we're probably like, who cares about what I'm doing? And yes, true, but also like they're selling our information to like so that people can market to us and all this other stuff. I mean, it's a general concern if you have a smartphone and all around, because yeah, I mean, they know everything about us, and then we just give them more information by posting on the internet. But it's fine. It's the time that we live in, you know? get with it, get right or get left. Social media can also be a way to spread misinformation at a mass proportion, because like obviously someone on the internet could be like, oh, this happened, or they could take a photo or a video out of context and create a narrative that's just not true. And it's impossible to know like what the truth is unless you have the receipts. But even now with technology, like you can really just make anything up. Like, it's a little worrisome, but it's fine. Last but not least, something that I know that I've experienced is FOMO. Like when you see people hanging out and you weren't invited and you're just like, oh. Or this idea that like, because we have this access to seeing like the 1%, the most luxury and like traveling and all this stuff, that there's like this pressure that you're not doing enough, or you're not experiencing enough, or you don't have enough. And in some cases that might be true because the economy is just a little bit turbulent at the moment, but it's not really natural or healthy to be able to see anything you want to see at the click of a button. And sometimes it's hard to have those boundaries with yourself to realize like, oh, maybe I should not be consuming this. It took a lot for me to realize like, oh, this might not be affecting me in the best way, and I should really focus on getting myself on track before I indulge in this guilty pleasure. So I'm just gonna be 100p about it, because honesty is the best policy, and sometimes when you share things about yourself, it makes other people feel less isolated in their experience. I really had to take a break because even though I'm confident and secure in myself, there's a part of me that overindulges in this idea that people are gonna validate me. And when I start to rely too heavily on whether or not people are giving me the accolades that deep down I already know about myself, it becomes a problem. Like the moment I start caring too much or at all about what other people think of me or how they're engaging with me, that is the moment that I've given my power away and that I've already let go of too much. There's just a fine line between using social media for what it's really good for, which, I mean, it's essentially good for business stuff. Just in the day and age that we live in, if you want to use it to like, you know, spread information positively or get word out about your business, then yes, it's a good thing. It's also a fun creative outlet if you can use it just to express yourself without any expectation that anyone is going to perceive you in the way that you want to be perceived. If you can release that expectation, then it's great. You know, eventually when I have placed less value and I'm feeling more stable in my own emotions, I'll return. But until then, I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and my mental health, and I just don't want to put myself in the line of fire for that to be disrupted. And I think more people should be aware of the way that social media is affecting them, because, as I said, there has been tons of research that shows that it affects people's mental health. And I think more people experience this than they would like to admit, and it's okay to take a break. Go touch some grass, I don't know. Sit outside in the sun. Also, incorporate a good meditation practice. I need to get better at this, and right now Saturn is in retrograde. So now's the time to get to your routines and start doing stuff. I don't know if Saturn will be in retrograde still by the time I post this, because I do have my stuff set ahead, but still, incorporating things that help you to quiet your mind in a way where, let's be real, you're never going to really stop thinking about things, but it's being able to use discernment and understand that you are not your thoughts. And I'm still working on that, and until I can grasp that in a more solid and stable way, I'm staying off social media because it's just not good for my mental health, and I'm significantly happier off of it. So if you're someone who's been considering taking a break from social media, whether it be YouTube, I'll miss you, Instagram, or TikTok, or whatever, I know there are other social media platforms, but those are the ones that are most prevalent in my life. Whichever ones, and you're considering it, maybe try it out. I don't know. You don't have to put a limit on it. You can just say, hey, I'm going to take a break for a day. See how it goes. And if you liked it, maybe extend it longer. But don't be too hard on yourself if you don't make it. Like, as I said, it's a bit of an addiction and it can be hard to break. So just some food for thought. Anyway, I feel like this video is much longer because I'm just feeling yappy today. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.